Welcome, dear students. We will be looking at a major block, but in several components. What happens is the start of chapter 9 is, or rather, chapter 8 is what we are looking at now. But what you have to understand is that chapter 8, 9, 10, and 11, that all of it builds into one story. It's about performance, measurement, and management. So, what happens in chapter 8 and 9 is you're measuring performance of a profit oriented company, financial performance. 8 and 9, financial performance of an organization. Chapter 10 is about measuring performance and the challenges mostly in the public sector, organizations of the public sector. And in chapter 11, we will be looking at non financial performance measurement. So, as I said, 8, 9, 10, 11 is one major block, but we've broken it down into multiple segments for ease of understanding. So, firstly, we are going to look at chapter 8. Chapter 8 is about measuring the performance of an organization as a whole, right? You're not dividing it, you're not looking at it departmentally, divisionally, no SBUs, nothing. You're looking at the blanket company, the total company. How do you measure performance of the total company? Now, when I say this, of course, I know you must be thinking, we've already done this, and it's exactly right. You've already looked at it in PM. If you have done F4, P4, you've already looked at it. In F9, you've looked at it. In F3, you've looked at it. It's the use of ratios. So APM is just a one on the numbers aspect. It's a recap. It's a brief recap of what are the measures that are available at our disposal to measure certain aspects of the company. On the other end, it's for APM in particular, for the exam in particular, it's about understanding those ratios, having a thorough understanding of what they are, what purposes they serve, and the ability to critically use them in any situation, and knowing how to really deal with the ratios, knowing how to analyze the numbers using the ratios, knowing how to evaluate the performance using those ratios, and knowing how to arrive at sound judgments, providing skeptical thoughts, making sure that you're evaluating the business critically. You are able to recommend moves, recommend certain measures that the company can put in place if they're looking bad, that sort of thing. That's what APM is concerned about. So it's so on the one end you have to be thorough with the ideas, but on the other end you have to practice hard with your mock exams and with your past exams, to make sure that you have the enough practice, you have sufficient practice in terms of applying these ratios into situations and assessing the situations and evaluating company performance using those ratios. Let's take a look at the contextual understanding of the introduction to this chapter. Um, as I said, it's financial performance measures in a private sector organization holistically, completely. When we think about the objectives of profit seeking organizations, it's maximizing shareholder wealth. It used to be profit, but now it's wealth. So wealth can be made up of so many things. It's predominantly made up of the dividends and the capital gains, right, for shareholders. So whatever you do, as long as you're increasing or you're making room to increase dividends and to and for the share price to go up, so that their capital gains amount will keep going up, this is what shareholders are looking for. However, one of the things that we need to understand is that from being solely focused on from a financial end, nowadays slowly this shareholder wealth is slowly getting translated, and they're looking more at a sustainable form of wealth maximization, in a way that you don't only make profits for like 2-3 years, but you do establish and you do run your business in a way that it will generate profits for 100, 200, 300 years. That is the kind of approach that is being looked at. One of the other things that you have to understand is the relationship between profits and shareholder value. So value is this new concept, right? That is becoming like really prominent. We have measures like economic value added, not economic wealth added, economic value added, which really cleans the unnecessary, the numbers, the deviations from numbers. Companies are essentially under high pressure from various groups, various stakeholders, including governments and the general public, to offer long-term value. And when you say value, value doesn't only relate to shareholders. It's not just the shareholder returns and the gains and the capital gains and the dividends. Value means much bigger than that. Value is essentially the benefit that all the stakeholders of the company gain, and not only for a short term but for a long term. If the company has a right to do business, and if the company is extracting natural resources to do that, and if the company is exploiting people to do that, then it is just as well, it is the right thing for the company to give back to society, and not only to give the back to the shareholders, which is how the concept of value is being interpreted now. The measurement of value is in a quantified way is very challenging, but it is slowly being well organized. It is slowly an emerging concept. It is something I personally prefer also, and it falls under this concept of value based management, which is something that is looked at in chapter 11. All right. Okay. So on that note, I think we have built the general context of what profit-seeking organizations are trying to do, and how the modern dynamics, the modern environment has actually affected the way these companies look at profit and look at shareholder wealth. Now looking at value. I'll see you in the next segment. Thank you so much. Good luck.